and Jess here. Today I'm going to do something different than a 1 minute video. I just want to still fairly quickly talk about what happens, for example, when you mouse slip in the opening. And like you don't just like mouse slip like a queen or a rook or something, but you mouse slip like into a slightly different position than you didn't intend. And it's still not the end of the world. So and then you get over it and you play on. So in this position, I had the black pieces. So in b3, and I play f6. This is my main repertoire, even in long classical chess. So I think it's a lot more interesting than people give it credit for. So the idea is just to build a big center with e5 and d5 and things like of that nature. So so bishop b2. So everything's gone good here. So here I meant to play e5, and the idea behind playing e5 is obviously to blunt the bishop. But I end up playing accidentally e6. So I was like, okay, here, and I kind of go, okay, what's my game plan now? Well, now I kind of want to get. I still want to get my pieces out, and I want to get castled. So natural development should still try and apply here. So white plays e3 here with the idea of wanting to play queen h5 and maybe try to weaken the diagonal. But now that the one thing that this bishop's not hitting this diagonal, so we can just play the very good move knight h6 here. And here I don't like bishop d3, because first, like, you're blocking your d pawn. I think the best move here would be for white just to start grabbing space, d4, and natural moves like knight f3, bishop d3 or e2, c4, something like that. So, but bishop d3 kind of breaks some classical principles like taking space in the center. So d5, I grab my space in the center. Queen h5. Here, I'm actually going to get rid of these. Give me 1 sec. There. Sorry about that. And here, it's important. Well, you can play g6 here. I don't think you have to yet. The knight is more happy, I think, on f7 than on h6. So, and now we can boot up with tempo and play bishop g7 if we want. So knight h3. Again, I don't think knight h3 is a great move. I think knight f3 is much more natural here for white. So generally, more natural is generally better. So knight h3, g6, queen f3. So e5. Here I do maintain my my space grabbing ways as I intended to. Queen d1. Yeah, this is another problem with not having with just putting the bishop in front of the pawn. You can always run into these forks. You see this a lot in like Londons and collies where black can strike with a quick e5 and e4. So yeah, black's hand is, so maybe instead of queen f3, maybe just going queen d1 right away would have been better. And maybe that's why you put the knight on h3. So maybe there is a purpose behind knight h3. So queen d1. But after takes and takes, yes, white has the bishop here, but it's kind of not a closed position, but there's lots of pawns on the board, so these bishops don't have a lot of mobility. So they're kind of staring at staring at my pawns, whereas my bishop can get some scope maybe in the future. So here, queen d7. I wasn't quite sure which way I wanted to castle yet. Castling long seems to make more sense in this position though. My king feels a little safer over here with all three pawns in front of it. So queen g4. Here, there's no reason I should trade and fix his pawns. So, and just taking space, f5. Here, I can do something like this, but I figured there's no reason to like walk into these kind of funny tactics. Like this pawn's gonna get caught with rook c1, So just, I thought instead, like I want to keep all my space here and bishop g7, and it doesn't give any holes, and this doesn't work because I just have queen takes. Notice that I take with the pawn, the bishop is hanging, so it is, you have to be wary of that this bishop is not guarded. So knight a3, c6. One of the ideas here is just to keep the knight out. So to stop this, even though this isn't a threat, bishop b5 yet, there's no need to allow it at all. So c6, castles. Here though, I'm a little stuck for moves. I didn't want to allow this trade to happen, even though I think I'm still doing okay. Like I thought, like maybe I castle short and play a move like a5 in this position, but I didn't want to allow that to happen. So, and this knight on f7, it's not really doing anything. So I thought it would be best just to improve that piece first. And it has the added bonus of guarding my bishop on g7. So hitting the pawn twice, so have to defend it. And notice I can't play e4 because of takes here. Well, I guess I could play this, but again, I don't like my king being kind of sitting here, even though it's probably fine. So, like, I could probably play a move like queen e7, actually. But, again, it didn't seem like, it seemed like unnecessary complications. So, which is what, it's something you want to, when you're playing your long over the board games, you don't want to go for unnecessary complications against strong or weak opponents, unless, like, yeah, if you're better, you don't go for unnecessary complications. It's basically what I'm trying to say. So just defend the pawn, keep my strong center here, more space. So, and now I can develop my last piece. So, I was expecting kind of d4, but the problem with d4 is I can kind of start playing in the center here. I can play e4, and this bishop becomes kind of a, not completely terrible, pretty bad. It's staring at its own pawn, and the only way it's going to get played is to go to a3, and it's kind of slow because the knight has to get out of the way. So, not a move that I was terribly concerned about, but I didn't really like rook g1 either. So, maybe instead here, maybe f4 might be a better way to play, because takes, and at least two of your center pawns, like your one main center pawn, two of your center pawns are on dark squares, and your f4 pawn, since it's also a dark square, this at least gives your bishop some mobility for white. So, like, it's still a closed position, so the knights are still better here. So, black is still for choice. But, like, white's not completely dead in the water here. He can play, like, for h4, h5, and, like, white has something to play for here still at some point. This isn't, like, a huge threat yet. Well, it is. Actually, it is kind of a big threat because we're threatening to take on a2. So even just a move like king b1 here, and I would imagine black would castle long here. So, but rook h to g1 happened. Black, and I castled long. And white smartly, I think, tries to get rid of these pawns, and he wants to leave or open the king side where he's kind of pointing everything, which is smart. Generally, you want to attack where your pawn chain is and where your pieces are at. So, and the one big problem here in white's position is the a3 knight isn't doing anything, so that needs to get fixed at some point. So maybe white needs to take time out to play a move like knight b1, knight c3, something like that. So, or again, I think this f4 idea really should be played. So, h4, but here, yeah, the only move here now I think is queen to h3. So, because queen g2, and I pick up a pawn. So, and here the tactics, when you have a superior position, the tactics generally play in your favor. So I can take on f2, And when he takes on f5, just take the exchange. So you have nothing to fear generally. So, and notice here and here, I'll give you a minute. It's white or black to play and win. Sorry. So here, there is notice this queen defends this rook. So if we can make this queen either move away while attacking this rook, we can win the rook. So how do we do that? Well, rook g8, and if the queen, say, moves to f7, the rook is hanging. So in fact, white's got to go like this, and then king c7, rook g7. So, and then here it's kind of a mopping up job. So I wanted to be a little careful. I didn't want to hang my my e pawn with something like this because my knight can't take back because of the pin. So queen h1, king c2, queen e4, and at d3 I was just going to take the pawn. So here, and as they say, past pawns need to be pushed. h4, knight c2. Here I was annoyed that I played f4. I blundered my pawn. So not the end of the world. I'm still winning. And here, yeah, I just kind of d4, shut the bishop down, get the knight out from like the middle of the board where it's defending. So, and now my pieces just get super active. So run the king away, and it's going to be mate in a few moves. So as we see, like in the opening, when you accidentally mouse slip, just take a step back for a minute. Well, in this case, just for like 5 seconds, and be like, okay, it's not the end of the world. I can fix this. And in reality here, like right here, like especially after e5, black's already better after move 7, after mouse slipping. So yeah, it's not the end of the world when it happens. Just it's something to learn from. Be like, oh, I get to try a new position. So, and that's never anything to fear when we're trying to improve chess. So thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe. And if there's any content that you guys want me to talk about or discuss, let me know in the comments below. Thanks. Bye.